true crime with ease.
Disclaimer, read all about it. Yeah, so the timeline, in terms of us figuring out the exact timeline of that day or just kind of surrounding his disappearance is probably not ever going to be accurate. However, I think that it's important for his picture to keep getting shared, and also um, it to keep being shared with the story kind of that we know of him, um, and cut out and point out the lies that have been told. Um, at this point, it feels very much like we are basically here to pick apart the inconsistencies. I'm not really sure. I know I'm being like very vague and like I don't. Okay, sorry. So I don't know. I don't want to say much. What we've been doing, in terms of what we've been doing yesterday and today, I feel we should keep up doing. But in terms of racking our brains trying to figure out the exact time on that day that he was seen and where, um, I think the focus should be, like I said, pointing out and correcting lies, and also kind of thinking about what could have happened, as opposed to. I'm kind of, you know, getting my point across. My point is that no matter what phone calls we can listen to where the timeline was talked about, it's still a matter of if it's not coming directly from law enforcement, it's going to be incorrect. Um, and I can point out a few examples, and I will play them, um, for people, or Crystal can. But we're just, if we pick apart statements and go through transcripts and things like that, it's going to be helpful in pointing out inconsistencies and things like that. But in terms of figuring out exactly his movements that day, I don't see it. I see our skills better used elsewhere.
Yeah, I reached out to Dope Soul earlier, and I had asked her if she could get the police report through the Freedom of Information Act from the police department. And apparently she's tried and she's been denied, and their excuse is because, of course, it's still under investigation. And then I thought, okay, I wonder if the Fruitland Police Department has a police blotter, because a blotter shouldn't be something that's not public right away. Like a police blotter, you can go online and you can look at their blotter report saying, okay, this happened at this time, but it won't give you all the exact details, but at least there's a time for when like the call came in and then when officers arrived. So I'm trying to look for that on their website.
So they don't have that publicly available. They never did. Um, but if you're just talking in terms of like the call dispatch log, where it says like the nature of the call, the time the call came in, the number that it's assigned, and its location, um, we have that, but she did request several, like a list of police reports regarding incidents, um, even ones, within the week before he disappeared, um, and the week after, and they were completely denied, every single one, because every single one was part of an active investigation. Um, and it wasn't even an option. Like I thought even if it was an active investigation, we'd at least get the reports, but they'd be like so redacted. But at least they would like provide them, and then just redact the shit out of them, and then not, we can't see anything, but at least it was provided. But it went to, I believe, and Dope. I don't know if she's in. Oh, she requested. Let me. Oops. I think I just muted everybody. Okay, now I unmuted them. Okay, so Dope. Dope. This is like my third space ever. So, Dope, I want to say, and she can correct me if I am wrong, but when we were originally waiting for the call logs, the dispatch call logs, and it might not have even been Dope, it might have been other people, because at one point there were a lot of people requesting them to kind of see who would get them first, or if at all, and they had to go to the state, like, district attorney for review before they were released. And in the dispatch log, um, they redacted, I want to say, like 4 calls, let's say. But they weren't Michael's because his 911 call was there. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that meant or what that was about, or if it, but I can at least tell you the week before and the week after they're not releasing literally anything at all, um, which I also can't make sense of. But so she did try. Someone was explaining to us that that's not like with the Freedom of Information Act. Like that's not that they have to give you. I don't know what they have to give you. I don't know much about it. I don't think I've ever run into that where I've requested records that I knew were going to get denied, but tried anyway. But I've never requested records that I figured I would get and then them be denied, and especially a week before an instance, unless stuff happens around there all the time. Um, so yeah, if you're talking about the dispatch log, we can get you that, but specific incident records, um, we cannot.
Yeah, because I wonder about that just because it's been so long, and I'm surprised that of course the Fruitland Police Department that they want the community's help and what I did is I went on the website today and I read the August 4th um, statement from the chief, and one of the things he wrote in there was a paragraph in there stating that you know although that social media is a great tool, it can also be a hindrance in the investigation with inaccurate information being put out, and that no one should that basically no one should believe anything from anyone unless it comes from them.
Which is
So
interesting because, like, that was in August, and I
yeah,
know at least here on Twitter, like, we were not really, it was not being talked about. Like, the only thing that was active over there was his, like, they call it the family page, but it's that, like, Fruitland community page.
right.
Um, so at that point, I would assume that what they were talking about was. Okay. I assume that what they were talking about was, that Facebook page. Which, if it was full of locals, I obviously could see um, that being an issue. Uh, but from what I understand, they want help and tips from anywhere and anyone. So this whole like, um, you're wasting their time, and they're having to stop looking for Michael because they have to chase down these leads that everybody's sending in. That's not so. They do want tips, and
Right.
so from social media and anywhere else.
Yeah. Hey, Nikki, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead, Nikki.
Hi. I have been following this, but I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. Has Is there anybody local that has or can go actually talk to the neighbors?
I'm not exactly sure who. I can't remember. One of the people in our community. They actually, if I'm not mistaken, they drove from Utah and they went down there and they went for it one night, I think, or something like that. I think that was the closest person that's in the community that did that. I think that's what I heard on Spaces the other night, if I'm not mistaken. Other than that, I'm not sure anyone in the community here is that close. Um, so as far as the footwork, I have no idea how we could manage to do that.
Okay, I was just wondering. Thank you.
And I talked to a few people that are local out there. Um, the general consensus, like around town, is that um, the neighbors are not really like a thing. Like, for instance, people are not going around talking about how they saw Michael walk around the neighborhood. Do you know what I'm saying? Even in casual conversations.
Yeah, but aren't there some on record that made statements that they saw him?
So there was Jennifer, the neighbor, who is directly beside them. She was on that news station like that week. It was like a day or two later, and she said that um, she had told them that she saw him Monday night, and that never made sense. And she was the only one that didn't make sense until the other night when Crystal explained to us that it was the her husband, um, and that she was not home. Uh, but in terms of it being confirmed or verified in any other way, or the husband himself coming out to social media alone, um, and not with law enforcement and saying that he saw him, that has not happened, no.
Okay, because I'm just curious as to like past activity with those children. Is it common that they just let them run around the neighborhood? Is this like, a one-time thing?
From what
The
I understood,
family,
from what I
You know what
understood,
I mean?
yeah, from what I understood and from what I understand from just going along with this case is that it was pretty normal for the kids to just be out and about, in the neighborhood area there. So for instance, like Michael wanted to go and he wanted to play with a neighbor, it was nothing for him to walk out the door and go to another neighbor's house. I mean, that's the vibe that
Okay.
I've gotten from this whole thing. So
Okay, yeah, I kind of got that too. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be okay with a 5-year-old just coming and going, but that's just me. Okay, yeah, I was just curious about. Yeah, that's
And
my whole thing is I'm wondering what the neighbors have to say about them.
I think it's mixed messages a bit, right? Because I mean, we heard the neighbor Jen on the news say he was notorious for wandering, but the family has said like it hadn't happened, and also the babysitter. The family and the babysitter had said it hadn't happened for like 6 months or something like that, and it wasn't really so common. So in my mind, I know that no one is 100% trustworthy on what they say, but
Right.
in my mind, that's like, well, it's not regular enough that like there could be a perpetrator who like really planned this, knowing, oh, at this time of day, Mikey's
Right.
always wandering the streets alone, right? It's not
Or
like
if
that.
I mean, he may not have been targeting Michael, even if there are a ton of kids. He could know, because isn't it, a more closed off neighborhood? If they have like, just say 5 kids that are always hanging out outside, it may not have been directed at him, but if he was the only child outside at that time.
Yeah, he could have been a victim of opportunity. Absolutely. That's what I think. I think it doesn't sound like he was out there every night at the same time so that someone could have really planned this, but he could have been a victim of opportunity. I think that's possible.
And along that line, if we're talking about like the opportunity, how good of an opportunity would it be to choose to go and spontaneously take a child from a neighborhood that only has one entrance and exit? Especially if there are like people outside, and other kids. Like my whole thing is the 103-degree weather. I mean, that's, the nanny said at one point that they were always in the house. That they hardly ever went outside because by the time they got outside in weather like that and got in the car and say got to the park, unless they were going to like the water park or whatever, the splash pad, that everybody was miserable because it was just so hot. So
Okay.
I wouldn't. 100 and what was it? 103. And it was starting to cool down, obviously, because it was the evening time. I could see it that way. Like maybe kids will run around outside because now the temperature, they've been stuck inside all day and now the temperature's, a little bit lower. I just can't, for me personally, I can't get over the idea of the amount of time that there was, or the fact that if that were the case, there wouldn't be lies surrounding the timeline, because you would want to hone in on that to try to figure out like exactly who could have been in the neighborhood, if that makes sense.
It does. I don't. Yeah, I just kind of wandered there. That's not my theory. I'm not gonna voice my theory on the whole thing. That's definitely not it. I I'm really curious. I wish I was closer. I'm in Michigan, but I want to talk to the neighbors, all the neighbors around there, and just see the pattern of how the kids are outside and such.
I mean, I'd be interested to know the pattern of their everyday life in general. What things people had noticed, and comings and goings and things like that.
Right. Yep. Okay.
MD.
So we got a lot of people in here. So if anybody's close enough and wants to take a trip and talk to the neighbors, it would be greatly appreciated. But
hey, I was what? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I was just going to say thanks for letting me come up. I'm going to step down now.
I was wondering, do you know what time that TikTok video was made? I just saw a date, and I don't know TikTok, so I don't know if there's a way to look at that.
That TikTok, it's on the very top on the right side. That
I didn't see a time. I just saw a date.
Yeah, it's actually written, which is kind of weird to me. It's written, it says 2021-7-28, which is the way the Europeans write their month, day, and year. So
well, it is a app from China, isn't it?
Yeah, it may be. So that's why it shows 2021, and then the hyphen 7 and then the hyphen 28. But what struck me is if that was on the 28th, was that because she's in China, they're a day ahead and it was posted, or is that actually the post time of when that talk was seen?
I'm sorry, you said the date was the 28th? Mine said the 27th.
It says 2021 7/28.
I think it depends on your time zone, right, when you're watching right now, because mine said the 28th also. Okay. But I think it was done, like, say, at midnight or 1 a.m. I mean,
it was definitely late at night because it was pitch black while you're walking.
Right, and so I just don't know, I mean, like, I don't know if it's relevant, but what caught my eye is if there's a massive search for a missing child going on, where were all the people on the street searching? I mean, the street they were walking on, I saw one set of headlights and no people. Nobody was searching except those two kids that were walking.
That was
So,
probably a cell phone light. It probably wasn't even the headlight.
well, maybe that.
Yeah.
Then the other thing is, I kind of agree with. I think I've said it before, but with Nikki, or Nicole, both. Um, the fact that this much time has gone by and nobody has spoken out about a child that also I just recently learned just turned 5. So in my eyes, he's like, no, what? He's 4. I mean, he just turned 5. He hasn't lived a whole nother year yet. He's, a toddler. But the fact that nobody's spoken out about that really makes me wonder. Are they thinking they don't want to get involved? Are they scared to get involved? Have they been threatened? Have they gotten involved before with taking him home and they were not met with kindness and maybe met with some very harsh words? Because I can't imagine, seeing my neighbor's kid, and even if I lived, which I actually have lived on cul-de-sacs where the kids just all run amok, those 5 houses, and I was the helicopter mom. I mean, my kid was 5 years old. I wasn't going to leave him out by himself, because of this is the same rate that we talk about every day. It just takes 5 seconds for a car to pull up and throw him in. But a lot of parents did. But if someone went missing, to have the whole neighborhood clam up like that really is troublesome. And then my last thing is, I wonder if, like what Nicole was saying, about where our efforts need to lie, because we're not, the timeline, just blew up because it's lies. They're all lies, just lies. So do you think that, and I'm not sure if I'm wording this right, but do you think that we should push like a campaign like, where is Michael? Like, I mean, I think we should be asking every day. I think we should tag the law enforcement. I think we should tag the city. I think we should tag the state. Where is Michael? Because I'm going to say the same thing that I said back in November and December. I don't have much faith in the law enforcement. So I just wondered if we could help this child by pushing a campaign, where is Michael? And not just for the family, but every law enforcement and government official. I want to tag them all every day.
Right. The other thing that I thought about too is, because supposedly this is such a really small, tight knit community, from what I understand, right? So does someone in Tyler's family, or does someone in Brandy's family, or in the family as whole, maybe Grandpa, do they know someone that works for the Fruitland Police Department? I mean, is there a
Right.
conflict of interest there? Has that ever been thought of? I don't know.
That's been asked multiple times, but we don't get answers.
Right.
It's been asked multiple times. And that's what I'm saying, like, all these conversations we're having right now and all this umpteen millions of hours of work that Nicole and Dope and other people, and now all of us are reinvigorating this like we were trying to do back in December.
Right.
What was I going to say? Hold on, I'm sorry, I lost it. But what I'm saying is, like, we asked these, but now we're this far out, and the law enforcement has not given a crumb. There is nothing. Like, why aren't they asked? Well, I shouldn't say that. That's a lie. That last update that you guys read, and I went back and read, they came out and did ask for tips, which went exactly contradictory to what the family was saying.
Right.
I felt like that was a kind of a message they were trying to send, like, yes, we want tips, period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Can
Absolutely.
oh, sorry.
Crystal's
Hi, guys.
Crystal's had her hand up the whole time.
Yeah, I've seen her put it up and down and up and down. Go ahead, Crystal.
I just don't want to be rude and jump in. I was just gonna try to answer some of the questions, and now I've forgotten half of them. The TikTok thing was July 28th. It was after midnight that they were out there searching, and I wanted to let everybody know that not I, my friend actually found that, and I questioned Brandy and asked her if, since they thought Michael was abducted, if they let the other kids go look for him. And she's like, heck no, I wouldn't do that. And I said, oh, because I found this TikTok and the older brother's in it. And Oh yeah, that's right. He did go out looking. So I kind of caught her in that. And then I think it was NMD that was talking about the neighbors and stuff. I have actually brought up the question a few times to Brandy if there are 12 houses from Arizona to Washington. 12. Michael knocked on 5 doors. I'm going with 5 because that's what I heard last. So almost half the doors. And everybody talked to him, but nobody saw him get taken. That confuses me. I've always asked. I've never gotten an answer for that, obviously, but that's always driven me a little crazy that so many people saw him that day, but no one saw a car take him. And I don't remember what the other questions were that I was going to answer. So that's all I got for now.
Did you ever get the feeling like, I mean, like I remember that we were trying to convince or just like put our opinion out there a few months ago that law enforcement wasn't doing enough. Like, would we ask, did this happen? And they'd be like, no. I'm like, what do you mean that hadn't happened? But did you ever get the sense that, I don't know, like, did you ever hear her ask law enforcement for anything? Or did you get the sense that every time you brought up a suggestion that she was okay with it kind of stalling out, if, for a lack of a better term?
She has always praised law enforcement. There was one time that she freaked out and got mad, and it was about the reward fund. Other than that, it has always been that she has praised them and they're doing everything they can and they will find him. And it even when the entire group was telling her, like, no, they're not doing enough. Like, they should be, for the Honda Pilot thing, for example, they should be releasing that immediately so that people in the neighborhood aren't scared that somebody could come back in a white Honda Pilot. And she's like, no, just let everybody keep chasing their tails. And I mean, I argued back and forth with her for forever about that. Like, no, they should be definitely releasing something.
Crystal,
But
are you able to play anything right at this moment?
what do you want me to play?
Well, I just want to know if you're able to.
Right, I am, yeah.
Okay. Never, then you go ahead. Go on. I'm just going to send you something.
Okay. Yeah, my brain's on overload. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, no, she's always praised them. She's never, just the one time about the reward fund, where she got upset.
Hey, Hope, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead, Hope.
Okay, so my name is actually Ashley, and I think that there's probably some of you in here that know me. And sorry I interrupted. I have not done any Twitter Spaces before. Didn't know how to raise my hand. Anywho, I was with the older kids' father for 4 years, so I know the family fairly well. And in response to what NMD was saying, there were tons of people out searching for Michael. I was out there that night. There were people on ATVs, side-by-sides, their own vehicles, on foot. They had helicopter out there, drones, law enforcement, fire department, paramedics. Like, there were so many people. And then I think what you are talking about with the video and there not being very many people, closer to midnight, they had asked people to clear the streets and to stop like looking because they were wanting to bring out the search dogs and did not want the scent to like be hindered, which I think that it probably was to begin with because the amount of people that were out there already. Like, I walked through a massive field all the way to the other side and kind of by the freeway, which they also had police alongside the freeway in the underpass searching with their spotlights. So yeah. And there was something else that I was going to touch base on too. I can't remember. I can't remember. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I didn't know what time that was. I had no idea, and I'd heard all about the the helicopters and whatnot. So thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, and the other thing too about people being close and like nervous to speak out, that was most certainly me. Which I'm sure maybe there's some of you that know that. I talked to her daughter that day. She and I used to be very close. And I had actually talked to her. We were trying to figure out a time for us to spend time together. And that's when she had told me that she would have to talk to her mom later because her brother was missing. And I was like, wait, what? And I was talking to my best friend on the phone at the time, and I told her, I was like, I have to get off the phone. I need to figure out what's going on. Kira just told me that her brother's missing. And yeah, so I had called Brandy and talked to her, and she told me what was going on. And I told her, I was like, okay, I will be over there as soon as I can. And I had to wait for my kids' grandparents to get to the house so she could watch them so I could go out and search. Um, and since then, like, I have my own personal beliefs, views, ideas, I guess you could say, of what could have occurred. And I have talked to the Fruitland police on a couple different occasions, which obviously Brandy already knows about that, because after I had gone to the police station and there was one person that knew and was on the phone with me, and then all of a sudden my contact with Kira was gone. She wouldn't reply to my text messages or my calls, and I had tried talking to Brandy about getting Kira to take her to get our nails done and go shopping, and she wouldn't reply to my messages, and had also asked her about taking Ben to a cooking class because that was his New Year's resolution for 2 years, is that he wanted to learn how to cook. So I had tried to help teach him how to cook, and one of his first things that he made was grilled cheese, and there was a super cool gourmet grilled cheese cooking class that I want to take him to. Anyway, yes, so my contact was cut off, and she had made a reference on Facebook to somebody in the like open discussion group about um, something along the lines of like, why don't you go and tell that to the police like you already have, like basically kind of saying like she knows that people like that there's so many people saying things and who is saying what, which obviously like I am now to the point where if there's anything that I feel I need to say, I would much rather go to the FBI. I will not talk to the Fruitland Police Department anymore because that was one thing when I had gone in there and talked to him after a conversation I had with Kira and what she was explaining to me, and it broke my heart, and like I care about them very much. And I had told the detective that like I have stayed in the background of all this. That's why I have just sent you emails and I have communicated with you in that way. I don't talk to anybody about it because I don't want to hinder my relationship with the kids. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, it sounded like that's exactly what happened anyways. So damn if
Yeah,
you do,
it
damn
is.
if you don't. Right.
Exactly.
I mean, it really sounds, you know, really wonderful that you actually took the time and you tried to make the effort, and you tried to, get the kids' minds, preoccupied with good stuff and fun stuff. And for doing that, you just got ragged on, basically.
Oh yeah, definitely. My best friend had sent me a screenshot that I now obviously Brandy is talking about me, which is super weird. Because after she had joined that open discussion group and like she wouldn't really say much to anything that I had posted on there, which again, I have not said anything that I don't know like for a fact. With my conversations with Kira, I haven't even put that out there. Like
Right.
nobody knows the conversations that I've had with Kira and everything that she said to me the timestamps of our text messages, which again I gave that to the police department, so
Right.
they know,
Right.
and that's kind of one of the things that they're going off of for a timeline for Michael. And I told them, like, I don't think that you have the right timeline. I really don't.
Yeah, my thing is with the timeline, and I think with a lot of the other ones. I mean, I've sat in every night at my home brainstorming that timeline, and just in my opinion alone, I can't see during that time period from that 6:30 at night until 9:30 at night. There's no way that Michael wasn't seen by everyone. People around are too short of a time. So my immediate thought was, okay, we need to move this timeline from how that morning started to that point of 6:30. You know, after Brandy went to work, after Grandpa left the house. From that period on is where we should be looking. But if we're just going off of Brandy's timeline, you know how it's been, Ashley. So
Yeah, I know, and that's why every time that I see posts, like, I have not been able to say a whole lot because there's things that make me cringe, and it pisses me off because I know there's false shit being said, and it makes me upset because at the end of the day, like, I was not close with Michael. I obviously was closer with the older kids because their dad and I were together. Um, and to know the pain that they have and how greatly it has affected them, and to see how greatly it's affected the community, um, it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with, like, I'm not on anybody's side except for Michael's. And so, like, I had gotten to a point after my conversation, the last conversation that I had with Kira, that, like, there's probably some things that I know that I need to speak out about. And, like, even now, I'm literally shaking and feel sick to my stomach because I know that this is going to get back to Brandy, and I know it's going to be an issue, and it already is an issue because I can't even go and see my own kids that I have with their dad while he's got Ben and Kira there too, because she has a problem with that. That's not okay.
no, that's not a. No, sorry about those, my dogs. No, I totally agree with you, Ashley. I mean, for you to not be able to see your kids, or even if you wanted to go see them, and it's such an awkward feeling, you know, that's pretty gut wrenching. So I can understand your the way you feel.
I guess I should rephrase that a little bit. It's not necessarily that I can't go see my kids. It's that their dad doesn't want me over there when he's got Ben and Kira there too, because it causes so much extra drama and conflict for him because he has to deal with her being upset about me being there. And it's just a huge ordeal. And at the end of the day, the thing that matters is that Michael gets justice. And
absolutely, you're absolutely right. And
that's all that I'm here to try and help accomplish.
Right.
And I want to say, and Ashley, I feel like I briefly saw a message from you pop up somewhere, and I meant to get back to you, but I just want to say that it made me very emotional to hear you talk about what Ben likes and what he was going to do with you, and that you went out like to do this cooking class. You know, I tried to get Brandy to tell us like some similar things about Michael, like and the fact that you know them so well. I mean, you can tell that you love them, and I know that probably being here right now and talking about this is stressful and emotional, and you know, I think it speaks volumes that you speaking out.
Nicole, we can't hear you.
Of course, I was in good service there for like that whole time. Can you hear me like at all?
You sound like you're talking into an accordion, Nicole.
Of course. I reckon I'll shut up and hope Ashley stays and I don't forget what I had to say.
Hey, Pixie,
I couldn't really hear what you had to say. I'm sorry.
Hey, Pixie Witch, I see you have your hand up. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. I've been following along for a while and just watching everything, and I've joined the spaces the last couple days, but I'm just super confused about. I know everybody's confused about the timeline, but I feel like it's very important to know the last time he was seen because that just seems like a very basic thing that you need to know when you're trying to find somebody who's missing. So I'm just wondering if anybody has any information about that. And yeah, that was like my main question.
Could you answer that, Ashley, on like a, I mean, we're all kind of wondering. I mean, the only thing we all know, Ashley, is that basically at 6:30, you know, Tyler was changing the diaper, and then in between 6:30 and probably 6:45 or 6:50 is when he noticed Michael was gone. Was there actual a time where someone said, "Oh crap, he's gone"?
So from the conversations that I had, Kira has never told me like anything that Ben has said or like observed or anything. So I don't know when the last time is that Ben had seen him, but the last time Kira said that she saw him was in the morning when she left to go to band camp. That he was sleeping on the couch, and I think she said she gave him like a kiss on the head and had gone to band camp. And the other thing is when she had gotten home, she had told me, actually, I can bring it up, my text messages. I still have them. Sorry.
Do not apologize.
I'm so shaky, you guys.
I know you are.
Ashley,
You're doing fantastic.
Ashley,
I want to
Ashley,
comfort you. Like, I feel like you can't hear me, and I want to comfort you because I know that this is hard, but it is all for Michael and Michael only.
Absolutely. You take your time, Ashley. Don't feel like you're being interrogated by all of us or anything like that. We're all here for the same reason, and we're all here to find Michael, and that's just the bottom line.
Right. No, I don't feel interrogated. My biggest issue is that, like, again, I love and care about the kids very much, and me not being able to, like, talk to Kira or to be around them.
The communication is totally cut off, right?
Yeah. So it was. So she texted me. This was at 9:29 p.m. that night. She said, a few hours ago, I didn't see him. I got home. Tyler was trying to scare him, but scared me instead. I took a shower and then a nap, and I went over to Jacob's, and Mom called. I came home, and there's a bunch of people out looking. And then I said, be there soon. And she said, okay. And she had come over to my house later that day. Well, initially, I had gone over there. It was like 7 o'clock in the morning the next day. Kira had band camp again, and I had asked Brandy if there was anything that she needed, if she wanted me to take Kira to band camp so she didn't have to worry about it, or if she needed any snacks, like anything that I could do to help. And so I had gotten Kira some snacks, and actually, when I first got there, they were outside drinking. So there's that at 7 o'clock in the morning. And other activities. But yeah, so Kira had called, she called me, and she was wanting to leave band camp early because she was having a hard time. So her former aunt, Carly, had picked her up and brought her to the house. And I had another conversation with Kira at the house and had asked her, like, how was that day? Like, what did that day look like? And again, she just kind of explained basically the same thing. She saw him in the morning, went to camp, came back, and like Tyler had tried to scare her. Not once did she ever say anything about Tyler changing a diaper. And the last conversation that I had with her, probably like, I don't know, maybe a month ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. I don't remember. She had said that like Tyler had gone outside to smoke a cigarette and order pizza, and he had asked her too if she had seen Michael. She said no, and she was getting ready to leave to like she was waiting for Jacob's dad to get there to pick her up. So that's all that I know, like in regards to when he was last seen. Um, I know that's not quite helpful, but
So it doesn't. So it really doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like Tyler. It doesn't sound like Tyler was very attentive during the whole time that this was going on. I mean,
no.
is that a good assumption, or
Yeah.
or am I totally wrong?
No, I have definitely heard from other family that it's not uncommon, and I know from personal times that like my initial reaction when I had seen that Tyler was in the room changing the diaper, what came to my mind was, I'm surprised Kira wasn't the one that was changing the diaper.
Gotcha.
Kira was like, I know how hard this is for her because, and she makes the comment like, that's my baby, and it's very real because she helped raise him.
Now, just out of curiosity, this is another. There's been a couple spaces where Brandy's come on, and we've all talked with Brandy. And one of the things that keeps coming up, Ashley, is we, we wanted to get Tyler to come on and just speak with him, just like you're doing with us. And it's whenever that subject is brought up or the topic of him coming to speak, it's like Brandy gets combative about it. Like, no, he works too hard for family. You know, he has too much anxiety. And is that really in fact true, or is she just kind of keeping him away and she's taking control over this whole ordeal?
I can only speak on my perspective because I don't know, like, 100% sure, like, what goes through their minds and everything. But, so the last time I had seen Tyler was Christmas Day. I had taken Christmas presents over to their house for the kids. And it's like I told the detective, he looks like dog shit, like, absolute dog shit. And does not like he looks like the same person but not at the same time. He looks like he's massively aged, and it seems that it could be that, obviously there's like some guilt there or something that's eating him away, and he's never talked much to me. I've seen him in the past too, like when I had done the volunteer search that the police department had put on and had talked to them. That was the day that the kids were supposed to do their interview with the FBI, and I had asked Brandy like how the kids were holding up and if she was going to be there for that. And like Tyler cried for a second. They both did, and then they were just fine. Like, but there were no tears. So again, I don't know. I think that Tyler is very much able to talk, and it just seems odd to me that he wouldn't speak out and for Brandy to be the one to take the lead on it.
Yeah, it just seems like she's taking like total control. It seems like, I guess in my opinion, as a man of the house, like she is the man of the house. Like she's the one that says we're doing this or we're not doing it, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, that definitely is fairly fitting for her personality from like what I have seen in the past. Just more not necessarily aggressive, but like authoritative, I guess. Like I don't know how to explain it.
Like she's in charge.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't speak out, but one thing that has, when the detective was asking me what I think about it, and my thing was, is with Brandy that she was at work, and so like me trying to wrap my head around that, and like her being at the forefront of all this, it's like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And so it's like I don't know if she is in denial, and or if like there's just maybe like he's a narcissist and there's just so much abuse or something that she is not like thinking clearly. Because
Well, that's
something that
another.
had crossed
Well,
my
that's
mind is like these kids, they go back to Brandy's house every other week, and they're under the
see,
same roof of somebody that a lot of people think is responsible for Michael going missing. How can you be comfortable being there?
right. See, that's another thing I thought about too. Is all the times that Brandy's been on the spaces with us, whenever we ask her anything, it's like it's like she's talking very, very, very cautiously to make sure that she either doesn't say something that happened, but she doesn't want to, lie about it, or she's covering her own lie, or like someone's holding something over her head that if she said something, like she's gonna be in big trouble.
Yeah, I agree. There's some other people with their hands up. You guys can go ahead and talk. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I see you got your hand up, Z News, and then we'll go to Nikki. All right.
Thanks so much. So this question is really mainly for you, Hopes / Ashley. So I don't know if I missed it earlier when you were on, but do you know when the big sister got home um, from after she got home from band camp? I've heard that there was no one else home that she saw. I'm just wondering, did she notice when everyone got home, and did she see them get out of the car? Who was there, and what that whole situation was like? Which vehicle was it that came home, or did she notice when she came home from band camp that there were vehicles there, family vehicles, or are they all gone? But basically, like, when everyone came back home, was Michael there? Who was there? And what the situation was? Do you know anything about that?
So she hadn't ever said like anything of like those specifics, but I would imagine that like one of the cars was gone because Brandy was at work, and then uh, one was there because Tyler was there. She said that when she had gotten home that Tyler scared her and was trying to scare Michael. And so yeah, I would imagine she had told me that. So I believe band got over at 4, which this is something that my friend and I were trying to figure out too, because when I had gone and to talk to the detective, like it's basically almost like free range there. They had the whole map blown up. I got to see the FBI timeline, like everything, which I thought was weird because this is an ongoing investigation, and that's kind of crucial information. But um, they had on there that she was seen around the park. I think it said, oh my goodness, I can't remember what time it said. I will try and find this. I wrote it down
4:30.
somewhere.
Does 4:34 sound right?
No, it's earlier than that. I want to say like 4:15 maybe.
I'm throwing my whole notebook out the window. I'll be back. I'm done.
So something came out from Nicole. I don't know if this is related. Today, saying that Big Sister was seen on camera at 3:45, I believe, going through the splash pad on her way home, which was earlier than we thought because we thought band camp was till 4. But was it 3:45?
Yes. That's what it is. That's what we were trying to figure out is that she had band camp didn't get done until 4, but she was seen on that camera earlier. So I was trying to figure out like why did band camp get done earlier that day? Like why was she going home earlier? Because I would imagine that she did walk if she was seen by the park, and they've got like a little underpass over there that you can like walk on. to go under the the road or whatever, so you're safe crossing the road. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that was something that we were trying to figure out too, because I had seen that and I was like, well, that's kind of weird because Kira had said that she had gotten home around 4, but band camp didn't get done until 4. So
she was seen on camera around 3:45 heading home, and she got home, and I've gotten like some mixed messages on this. So was no one home? Was Tyler home and he tried to scare her?
yes, yeah, that's what she said. Is that when she had gotten home, that Tyler was trying to scare Michael, but scared her.
But she saw Tyler when she got home, and she did not see Michael. And did she see her brother, her other little brother?
She never really talked about Ben. So I'm not entirely sure. I know that Ben was there. I just don't know, like where he was at or what he was doing. She never did bring him up, like, so that's why I say I can't say anything about, like when Ben last saw him, because that I don't know, and I don't want to speak on anything that I don't know from like people that were present there. You know?
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. So, like I said, I missed some of it earlier, so I'm sorry for rehashing. But all right. So she came home 3:45. Tyler was there. She did not see Ben. She did not see Michael. She did not see Grandpa or anyone else. She like went and did her things in her room. Basically, is that right? Like she like showered or napped or whatever.
Yeah, she said that she took a shower and then she took a nap, and her friend Jacob had, I think, texted her, and that's when she had gotten up and asked Tyler about, or told Tyler that she was going. That's the other thing, is it was not asking, it was telling.
Yeah, so I was curious about that too. Like, I'm just trying to figure out these timestamps, right? Like, so 6. Do you have any kind of timestamp from her on what time she left? Sorry, I know Nikki and Fresha want to speak too, so they can jump in as well. But just curious if you know any kind of time frame of when she left the house. Like that conversation with Tyler, was it right when she was leaving the house and he was about to go into the garage and smoke and order pizza, or was it like, that conversation was like 10 minutes before she actually left and she was just giving him a heads up that she would be, any sense of the timestamp of when she left?
Yeah, so it was, let me see. I threw away so much of this stuff because I was just like, I am hopeless. I can't help, and I just, yeah. So I threw away a bunch of stuff, but I do have a Google Drive that I did not delete anything off of. So let me look at that.
I totally get it. As I've told like everyone here, like every single photograph or screenshot I take goes into a shared family drive, and so therefore I have like no screenshots because otherwise everyone would think I was a nut. So I get it. I have like no screenshots, even though I wish I had them all. So while Ashley's looking, can we unmute Fresha or Nikki? They can jump in here too.
Hi. Oh, actually, Nikki, you were first. Go first. You're right. I'm still typing.
Thanks. So there's a lot of focus on him being outside and leaving, possibly getting abducted, blah, blah, blah. Was the house ever ruled out from being a crime scene? Do we have solid proof that this kid didn't go back into the house and something happened? Or that he never actually went outside?
So, like, we can see if Ashley has anything to say on that, but in my opinion, we have no idea of anything. Go ahead, Ashley. Hope.
The detective had said that, so down his street, there's nobody that has cameras, so he was not seen on camera at all. But there is one house that has like a motion detection, and that never went off. So I don't know that he was outside.
Okay,
Crystal,
thank you.
wait, Nikki, I'm sorry to interrupt. Crystal, can you address that before Nikki goes in?
Thanks. Yeah. Okay. So once upon a time, Brandy said that there was no cameras. Then she said there was a Ring doorbell camera. Then she said Michael was caught on camera from 908 Southwest 9th Street running down the street. So there is no camera there, and he wasn't caught because I think she's reading the same board you were reading, and that's where she was getting her information that I was writing down. And now I'm really friggin' lost.
From
Big
my,
board? What kind of board? What's the board?
they have a big blown up like poster board of like it's a blown up map of their neighborhood, and they've got like so many different houses and stuff like highlighted and just information on there. Like who was where and who lives where and what cars where.
That's reassuring, at least.
Yeah. But from my understanding, Michael was not caught on camera at all because that was like something that, you know, was brought to my mind. If he's on camera, then why is there no picture put out there of what exactly he looked like that day? And from my understanding with my conversation with the detective, which my best friend was also like,
Ashley, can I just stop you for 1 second? Nicole is just sending me messages to ask if she can speak. Can you make her speaker? She wants to just jump in before we go ahead.
Yeah, I tried getting her in, and I'm DMing with her, and when I try to put her name in there, she's not even in the space it tells me.
All right. Well, do you want to try make me co-host? Because you can have two. Make me co-host, and I'll see if I can do it.
All right, did you get it?
Yeah, I'm just accepting. And then...
So while we're waiting, Ashley, have you seen anything in your texts or messages or anything about when Big Sister got picked up and left the house?
So my best friend Samantha is on here too, which she can probably tell you that because her memory's better than mine. I've been doing schoolwork and taking 14 credits. I got 2 kids, and life's been super crazy. So my brain has been shut, like it's been all over the place, you know. So I've been writing everything down, but I'm not finding the paper that I had written on. So
Samantha, can Samantha raise her hand? I'm not really sure how it works on Spaces. I don't really know, but Samantha? What's your Twitter name? Can you raise your hand?
She's under Justice for Michael. She requested.
All right. Let's take a look at anyone who's co-host. You can bump me for Samantha. She's Justice for Michael.
Nicole, did you want to jump in quickly?
Yeah, I just want to say something real quick. So, I don't know what happened because as soon as you made me a speaker, like you guys had jumped ahead in the conversation. But when Ashley was saying, I don't remember what she was saying, but someone said, "Well, aren't you guys looking at about the cameras? You guys are looking at the same boards. They're not looking at the same boards. What Ashley is telling us right now is what we should be going off of because they were not looking at the same boards inside the police station."
Okay, that's good. So, what do we take away from that, Ash? I mean,
So he was not seen on camera, let alone several cameras. So Crystal has um, recordings and things where timestamps are being rattled off of and houses are being rattled off where he was, they saw him here and they saw him here, and that's just not so. But everything that Ashley is saying is the correct information.
And by he, you're saying Michael, correct?
Michael Holme, yeah. The other one was seen on camera. Tyler.
Right, got it. And big sister.
And big sister.
The other thing that was on that timeline, which I know Brandy had talked about, because I have heard some of the spaces, is the grandpa leaving, which they have on there that he left at 3 p.m. So that was something too that my thing is if they have looked at all these vehicles and they can identify every vehicle that's been in and out of there, then it had to have been somebody in the neighborhood that took him or did something. And have they really looked into where the grandpa went? And because it obviously, if Tyler's vehicle didn't leave, but grandpa's left at 3 o'clock and Michael wasn't seen when Kira got home at 4 o'clock, that's why I was telling the detective I think that the timeline is off. And I don't know that they had cloned the grandpa's phone. I don't know if they ever did that. I don't know if they looked at GPS or if they followed up with any of the places that he had been to or who he had talked to. Like, I don't know.
Hey, Ashley, the only thing that if I'm not mistaken, that Brandy, that she quoted to us about the grandpa, he left sometime in the afternoon after she went to work, and he went to get his beard trimmed, and then went to the watering hole where he hangs out with his Navy buddies and drinks. That was all, if I'm not mistaken. That's what she quoted us. Now, how far away that is from the house, I don't know. So if it's a tight knit community, it can't be too far from the house, I would presume.
There's like a barbershop that's also hosting the posters and also did like a little Facebook post like this week, I think. And so I'm assuming that might be the barbershop. I can't recall where it was. I think it might have been in Ontario or something. It was not like the closest barbershop, I think. But other people can correct me on that. But yeah, I agree. It should be easily tracked down and really relatively close.
Now, Ashley, when you say truck, are you talking about a 4x4? Or are you talking about an SUV truck type of thing? Are you talking about a truck that has open bed in the back? What kind of truck are we talking about?
Yeah, his truck is, I believe it's got I want to say it has a camper shell on it. I can't remember for certain. I'd have to, well, actually, I haven't blocked on Facebook. I went and blocked all of them because I don't want them on my shit. I'm tired of them bothering me.
It's amazing that they like have this like attack attitude towards you, and like they assumed that we're all talking with you, and we have never spoken with you before tonight. I just think that's crazy.
Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating, and that's the thing. Like with this whole Jennifer ordeal, I have had many conversations with her, and I have talked to the police about it. And when it was brought to my attention that apparently someone was saying that she was going around telling people that she and I are like best friends, and I told Brandy that that is not accurate. That's not the case at all. And if she would like to talk about it, then I'm happy to tell her. And she never texted me back, never tried to call, nothing. So it's very frustrating that she is going around telling people that, like, that Jennifer and I are the ones that are putting out all this stuff on there, and I'm not speaking on anything that I don't know or like from a trusted source like their daughter or my conversation with the detective. And like I said, there's other things that I have heard that is a little bit alarming to me, but I don't want to spread misinformation, and it's not something that I directly know, so I just don't say anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, So I got a question for you. Have you heard anything about these neighbors and the neighbor sightings? And then ours, I know you probably want to bring in Fresha. She's been waiting forever. But I would love to know if you knew anything about the neighbors. Have you heard anything from them or their sightings?
So for the neighbors, it's just only like what was said to the police, like when they did their interviews or whatever. But I had asked I think I want to say I asked the detective about like, is it for certain that they saw him that day? Because like, how often do you actually look out your window when you're at home? And if you do happen to look out your window when you're at home, can you tell me what it was that you saw, like, and when you saw it, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my biggest thing, is like, how accurate are those sightings? Other than
Right.
that, I honestly, I don't know. I haven't heard much, and I have not talked to the neighbors personally. I have heard something interesting about one of the neighbors, but again, it's not like something that I know for sure, so I don't really want to spread anything out there.
Hey,
I get it.
Crystal. Hey, Crystal, I see you got your hand up. Go ahead.
I think Fresha was before me. She can go. It's okay. I'll wait. My turn.
I, funnily enough, I wanted to ask about Grandpa's movements and the neighbours, which has pretty much been covered. So you can go, Crystal.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Grandpa, his favorite watering hole is Rusty's Pancake and Steakhouse in Ontario, Oregon. And it was not Broken Halo that he got his haircut at. The people that are running those community groups or whatever. I had asked Brandy, and she said no, he doesn't go there. He goes to a special place, but she never would tell us. And I can also back Ashley on that text message where she reached out to Brandy saying that she was not talking to Jen, and they were not not talking, but they were not like BFFs and stuff. I've actually seen that text message. Brandy has sent that as well. That was all I had.
Hey, Ashley, I got a curiosity question. Where the grandfather went, are there cameras along that road where, like, if they, like, at different businesses, would there be cameras on the road that if he drove down, you'd be able to capture that or not?
Yes, there's so when you come out of the neighborhood, and if you were to turn left and like go more into town, or to go like even to Payette or Ontario, there's businesses along the road that would have cameras.
Okay, north of Weezer. I mean, it's the only search outside of their neighborhood that the police department ever publicized. Any connections there? That, I mean, I know it's a huge, vast area north of Weezer, but like, I don't even know if I'm saying it right. But anyway, did it strike you with anything?
They had said that they got a tip for out there, and they searched it, or I can't remember if it was this is where I need Samantha. If it was a tip or somebody's or a ping. It was either a tip or a ping. And so that's why they had searched out there, which it ended up bringing up nothing.
Well, all I can hope is that they're working off better than psychics. That's my opinion.
Go ahead, Fresha.
You don't have to answer this if you're not comfortable, but I was just wondering, in your opinion, what is the general, I guess, overall observation of temperaments towards the kids? if you can answer that. Then you don't have to if you're not comfortable.
I do not particularly want to talk about that.
That's completely fine.
Well, that explains that. I think you got your answer fresh, huh?
I think
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
I
Okay.
feel comfortable making a conclusion based on some of the implications made about what the parents were doing at times when.
Crystal, do you have any of those spaces way back when that could maybe shed some light on that question?
I have recordings of Brandy
Yeah.
talking to the baby.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe not talking to the baby, but I have recordings of it.
Right. I just wanted to say thank you to Hope Ashley and say, well, you're just doing a fantastic job, and you're a wonderful person for doing this for the kids, because I know the intimidation and the fear that you probably feel, and what you're doing for Michael and Kira is just so wonderful, and you're a very good person. And if I could just ask one question, do you know if this family has any ties to law enforcement there in their hometown?
I know. So when she had made that reference of Uncle Si or whatever, that I don't know about. I do know from like the older two kids, their dad, James, on his side of the family, he has somebody that is, I believe it would be like their uncle, that is like an SRO officer or something like that.
That's a school resource officer that sits in the schools.
Yeah, for Payette, I believe. Other than that, I don't know. That I don't know.
Okay, thanks so much.
And had you ever heard of any kind of foster situation with the older kids? Anyway, we have to ask.
Did you say foster situation?
Yeah, there was like a case on the civil courts case that was state of Idaho versus JT and BN as defendants, and it might just be a standard child support case, or it could have been something more. So we were wondering if you knew anything about that.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think like those kids are in a really tough spot. I'm glad that you're there trying to stand up for them and help them however you can. It's a terrible situation. So thank you for all you do.
Yeah, it is very rough, and like I said, I care about them, and I don't like that they're having to go through this. It's I can't even imagine how they're feeling and what they're going through of, do I grieve, do I not grieve, and then to have to hear comments at school, and to just have a constant reminder that their brother's gone, and how that has changed like family dynamics, and it breaks my heart for them. So I'm just doing what I can do, which I don't know that it's a whole lot. I have tried to, like, I had communication with the detective, and I had given like an opinion on something that they might look into, or try to do, to hopefully maybe get some more insight. And I don't know that they did. And I had been down to the police station to talk to the detective, and I was told he was in a meeting, and that they would have him call me, which he never did. So I don't know. Like I said, I just kind of backed off and if they wanted any more information, they know how to get a hold of me. And like,
I was just gonna ask you actually if they actually have come back to you with any questions after the fact that you've already spoken with them.
no.
Well, all I can say with like a little bit of benefit of hindsight in my own personal situation is it's worth it to go back, like put up another message in, put another voicemail message in, put another email in, whatever, and do it like every month for like a year. You can even automate it if you have to, just for your peace of mind to know that you did what you could do. And I know that you've already done what you can do. And I've been in this kind of, not this exact, but I've been in the horrible situation like this with the family horribleness, and I get you. I get how hard it is, and I get how difficult it is, and I really think that those automated messages to the police or whatever is fine. And the most important thing you can do is try to maintain the relationships with the kids. And I realize that's not totally under your control, but those kids might have a totally different situation, like in a month or 2 months, and having you there will mean a lot to them. I mean, I really saw it in my own family with a family member going down and being in the homecoming court with my other family member. I can't even like talk about the details of it or whatever, but like, it was like stand in for the father and do the homecoming court and all of these things. Like, there's so much meaning that these kids asked for and wanted in their life in my family, and I know that those kids will like want that too. So I really love everything that you're doing and want to support it in any way we can.
Thank you. Yeah, I have had like stuff in my childhood and everything, and through like going to counseling and learning more about myself and things that have occurred in my childhood, like something that really stuck with me is there's so many kids out there, and not even just kids and families in general, where there's things that are happening that are not okay, and people are so scared to speak out about that because of the way that they are going to be treated by family for doing the right thing. And that was something that like massively held me back. And then it's like, okay, well, I'm not doing any good by not saying anything.
Hi everyone, can I just jump in for a second?
Go for it, Tracy.
I went back and I watched some videos that KBTV7 had put up, and the reporter, I hate media, but the reporter stated that he heard new information, which this video was posted on the 8th of October, new information that surveillance had seen Michael between Washington Avenue, Cornwall Way, and Southwest 9th Street. So that report is saying that those three streets from surveillance footage was where Michael was seen between 6 and 7 p.m. When I had a look at the map, Washington Avenue is quite north, and it would take 23 minutes to walk there. So I don't know how they got footage all the way. I don't know. I watched the video 3-4 times, and it keeps saying those same three streets that throw me out. Has anyone got any thoughts?
So I guess I'm a little confused. He was seen on camera on
Washington. No, the video from KBTV was reported on the 9th. I think it's 8th of October. The video was loaded up onto the internet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a news article, and so they're saying on the day that Michael went missing, he was found on surveillance footage between 6 and 7 p.m. Washington Avenue, Cornwall Way, and Southwest 9th Street. And that's what the police, he says, the reporter says, the police are saying this, JD Huff is saying he's very excited with these new leads. So I don't know that's thrown me out. Washington Avenue is so far away.
So in October was when the vehicles were caught on camera, and then the two men that they were looking to identify. But
Correct.
so, but I'm not sure if we're looking at a different Washington, because like if you're near the camera on 8th, Washington is not, like, it's the next road on the left.
I had a look at the map this morning, and Washington, I did directions on Google Maps, and it said it was a 23-minute walk away.
You might have, maybe you were looking at the other, like, there's a splash pad that is named, like, it's like a splash pad, and the one that is by their house, that other one's by, like, a laundromat and stuff like that. The one that's by their house is called something park, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but, like, on the Google map, it doesn't say splash pad. So I'm wondering if when you typed in splash pad, if it gave you that one that was like, I don't know if it's in Payette. Someone obviously that's local can answer that, but
Well, why don't we ask Ashley? Go ahead, Ashley. Tell us where it is.
Yeah. Where's Washington Avenue?
Ashley?
Well, I'll answer that. South Washington Avenue is right there on the block where Michael lived.
Go ahead, Ashley.
I agree. It's right there. It doesn't. I don't. It's right there.
You're asking me where what?
Washington Avenue is.
I just pulled up Google Maps. There's a Washington Avenue and a Washington Street. Washington Street is in Michael's neighborhood, not Avenue. So if the article's saying Avenue, it might be a mistype.
It says well, he's on national TV and he says Avenue. So I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, and if he's speaking, it's more than likely a mistype, because the Washington Avenue is in between Northwest 2nd and Northwest 3rd.
Right.
In Orchard Park. But Michael's neighborhood, you have Southwest 8th, South Washington Avenue comes here again. Okay, yeah, so Avenue. So it's South Washington Avenue in Michael's neighborhood. Yeah, and then Washington Avenue is higher up, farther north between two other streets. So it's the south that's making you look at a different one. You have to add south to his.
He could walk to South Washington South easily?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Because that's Aaron Cornwall Way?
Yes.
It's all right there.
That's his neighborhood.
So they were the 3 cameras that picked him up. That's what that article says. In those streets, Washington, Cornwall, and obviously his own.
They're right there. Fresher.
Thank you.
I just wanted to speak to Mike mostly, just because I was curious, because I can see there's quite a few requests. Are you accepting requests, or did you want me to take care of putting speakers down and putting speakers up?
You could do that for me, Fresher. If you
No
don't mind.
worries, I will do that. I'm going to have to bump a few to let a few up, so I'll do that.
Can I ask one question and then I'll depart?
Sure.
Yep, sure.
Yeah, I'll get out of the way. Has CPS been to that house since this happened?
Not to my knowledge, but then again, I do not talk to Brandy at all, so I am not aware. I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you again. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to let someone else speak.
If you could accept the request from Justice with it doesn't have a picture, that is my friend that can also speak more on stuff.
Yep, I've got it.
Welcome, Justin.
Hello, thank you.
Hey, Sam.
Hey. Yeah, I'm Samantha. I'm Ashley's best friend. So thank you for allowing me to be here. Um, sorry, really quick, and then I'll mute myself so other people can talk. When Ashley was talking about the timeline with Kira had gotten a phone call from her friend at 6:36, and that's when she walked out of the bedroom to go and tell Tyler that she was going to leave to go hang out with a friend. And Tyler said that he was going to smoke and order pizza. She didn't say whether or not he even went to go and check on the baby. And then it wasn't until probably like around 6:50 that she was going to get into the car that he had asked her if she had seen Michael, and she said she hadn't seen him at all. And then she told him that when he finds her to have him call her, and then she got in and left. And there's a lot to say, but so there's that for the time.
Wow. Go ahead. I see you got your hands up, Artsy Boo.
Hi guys. Can you hear me? Okay. So I have this question is for Ashley, and what I was curious about is you said that when big sister got home, Tyler I'm not sure if this is a colloquialism because I really don't understand what it means. That Tyler was trying to scare her and scare Michael. What does it mean?
I would assume that he was either claiming to have been playing hide and seek with Michael, or because I have a hard time believing that Michael was there at that point in time. I'm not entirely sure though. And the other thing that is kind of weird to me with that is because I believe it was said that Brandy had called at, I'm trying to see, I want to say it was like 4:13 or something, 4:15 or something around there, when she had called home to check on them, which Kira would have been home, and Brandy says that she had like talked to Michael, and she says that he was sitting on the couch playing a game, but when you walk into their house, you see the couch. So there's no missing that.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. Because I just didn't understand the word scare in that context. So scare meaning like playing hide and seek and saying like boo type of deal?
I would assume so.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you for what you're doing. I'm going to step down so you can add other listeners. Thank you.
And Ashley, or Sam, or just whatever, when Kira did get there, I've heard baby sister in the background. She's not the quietest. She's pretty rambunctious. Like, when she got home, which would have been the time that I guess she would have been waking up from her nap and or going to sleep. Oh, maybe she was going to sleep. Like, did Kira see anybody besides Tyler, or hear anybody besides Tyler?
That I'm not sure about, because she didn't really elaborate on that. She didn't like talk about Ben, and she didn't talk about her baby sister, so I am not sure.
Well, so basically, I mean, you know, when she got home, nothing was weird. I mean, she wouldn't have had any reason to believe that anything was strange. And then when she left with her friend, she also wouldn't have had any reason to believe that anything was wrong. Is the impression that I'm under. So, because we had originally heard that like when she left, it was in the middle of everything. Tyler was like running around, neighbors were outside, like it was like this big thing. But you know, she didn't she didn't think that Michael was missing when she left. I mean, would that be fair to assume?
Yeah, I think that would be fair to assume. From what she had said, that like Tyler had asked her if she had seen Michael. She said no, and to call her when he finds him. And again, with how close Kira is with Michael, it if she were to believe that he was really missing or something had happened to him, I don't think that she would have left casually like that.
Well, he basically was like, okay, well, I'm going to go get a pizza. Um, so there wouldn't be any kind of, if he was calm and fine and about to order a pizza, I don't see that setting off any type of like radar for her.
Hey, Nicole, let me try to get some of these people up that have their hands up. Go ahead, boy, mom.
Hi, thanks for holding this space tonight. I have a question for Ashley and your friend Justice. With regards to dogs searching the neighborhood, have you heard? I mean, you guys live there, so did you see or have you heard that there were scent dogs and cadaver dogs that searched the neighborhood? And I believe I heard on the Spaces the other night that Brandy said that one of the dogs picked up Michael's scent and it stopped at a neighbor's house. I'm just wondering if you guys have any additional info or input on that.
Um, so that's the crazy thing. Like there have been numerous comments as to where the scent was left. So at first it was hounded into everybody that the scent ended in the driveway of a house just a few doors down. And then there's been comments that the scent didn't end there and it ended like I guess there's an area where you can like go under an overpass of some sort, that it was there and that it was that one of the guys that was walking supposedly was walking in that direction. So there was this huge skepticism that this random guy that they were trying to identify in the neighborhood had maybe taken him because he had walked in that direction. And then just recently, there was comments about it being at the babysitter. The babysitter mentioned that not only did the scent end at this house in the driveway a few houses down, but that later on they also picked up the scent at one of the churches nearby. But she didn't specify what church. And just recently I heard that a scent from Michael was picked up at a hill that's like 3 blocks down. So there's been so many comments in different areas and where the scent's been picked up, but all of it is coming from Brandy and then a few people who are that were there the night that they were doing the whole search.
Okay, so we're not going to get a straight answer unless Ellie, law enforcement, shares that info. I did want to share for anyone that's interested, if you're not sure how the difference between scent dogs and cadaver dogs and how they work. I just finished watching on the Peacock streaming network. It's called The Disappearance of Mara Murray, which is another missing case in New Hampshire, and they had a scent dog. They showed how a scent dog works and how a cadaver dog works, and they explained it, and then they showed the dogs working in action.
It's in season 1, episode 5. If anyone's interested in learning about the dogs and how that works, because we keep hearing about different scents and it doesn't pick up after a certain time or a certain length, and so that watching that was really helpful in learning about that.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
All right, let's go to Frida. Frida, go ahead.
Hi. So I'm kind of going back to the Ashley would probably be able to answer this. With the when Kira got home, Tyler tried to scare her, and did she say he was also trying to scare Michael? Is that correct?
Yeah, in the text message that she had sent me, she had said, I don't know that she specifically said Michael, but she said that when she got home, that Tyler scared her, but was trying to scare him.
Okay, because that makes it sound kind of like he knew where he was then, and they were maybe playing. And then it was that she hadn't seen anyone else, and then Tyler had even asked her if she had seen Michael. I'm just wondering how far apart in time did the scaring and maybe seeming like he's playing with Michael to now asking Kira if she's seen him?
That would have been like, I don't know. So she had gotten home around 4 o'clock, and she said that when she got home, Tyler was trying to scare him, but scared me instead. I took a shower and then a nap, and I went over to Jacob's, and Mom called. I came home, and there's a whole bunch of people out looking. So I would imagine it was like when she got home that Tyler had tried to scare Michael, but scared her instead. And then that's when, like, she had taken her shower. And so from that time, around maybe we'll say a little after 4 o'clock, to when she left around like 6:50ish, maybe a little bit after that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's go to Nick.
Hey, so I hate to go back to the same question, but just to clarify a little bit, when they asked you whether or not any of the neighbors reported seeing Michael that day, I was just a little bit confused with your answer. So, are you taking from the detective, like, was it insinuated that somebody made a statement, but you're just not clear whether or not it's factual, or to your knowledge, has nobody reported seeing Michael that day as far as neighbors go? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Samantha, you want to speak on this?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. There's like bits and pieces that I don't remember entirely because we were there talking for what, like 2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long freaking time. So,
I did not have a chance to write everything down. So there are some things that like I had not didn't stick with me.
So much that's happened since then. So the thing is that, like, so the police said that, or the detective, whatever you want to call him, said that they were going off of the time frame of Michael missing and, like, the what the neighbors had said. Now the detective didn't say whether or not he got the stories, if you will, of seeing him from the neighbors directly, or if he had gotten it from Brandy's family, which I question because he had said, I think it was Chief Huff who had said in one of his videos, that one of the press conferences, that the information in regards to the family he was getting from Brandy and Tyler, not directly from the family, because one of the guys had asked him. So the issue is that whatever the neighbors told, whether they told it to the detective directly or whether they told it to Brandy and Tyler and then they gave it to the detective, it's all questionable because they say that they supposedly saw him, and they're only comparing that time frame with the time that Kira had gotten the call and went to go to her friends. Sorry, one second. So sorry, my child is trying to get a bath and she's screaming at me.
You're okay.
So the thing that's questionable is like the time frame that they give for the neighbors, quote unquote, seeing Michael isn't because he's on camera. It's based off of when Kira got her phone call and them stating that they saw him because it was like X, Y, and Z in their routine. And it's questionable as well because of the fact that Brandy has mentioned that Michael has gotten out one time or two times. Like, this is a habit of Michael. And when they say that they saw him, they could have recalled the day before, or they could have been recalling last week. I mean, there's been tons of times where I have thought that something happened and it didn't. It happened on a different day. And so that's why she's saying, like, it's questionable as to whether or not they really saw him because there's no physical evidence that he was actually out there besides a potential scent that was picked up by the dog. But again, if that shirt or blanket or whatever that they got the scent from is on a couch where people are sitting down on it, or where mom and dad have picked it up multiple times, or that mom or dad might have been holding him, or it was in a laundry basket mixed in with other clothes, who's to say that the scent that they actually quote unquote picked up, if they picked up one, was even Michael's to begin with?
So we really don't know whether or not the police physically spoke with the neighbors or they spoke to Brandy. Is kind of the end of that. Correct?
Exactly.
Okay. And then my other question is, do we know whether or not the house was searched as if it was a crime scene? I think someone asked that earlier and it wasn't answered. Like, did they have dogs that went through their house? Did the police look through the house? Or has that not happened?
What Brandy was saying that like they searched through the whole house and everything. But I too question that because like with the speculation of Tyler was changing a diaper, and it's like, okay, well, if he was changing this big blowout diaper, I've got two kids of my own. I know blowout diapers means that there's clothes that probably have poo on them, you know? So did they even check the laundry baskets to see if that was there? Did they ever check the garbage to see if there was in fact a diaper there that had been changed not very long ago? Like, did they look in all the cupboards and the cabinets? Like, he's small enough that he could have been put somewhere, and I don't know how great that they searched the house. If it was just like a general search of like looking in common places, or if they actually like really deeply looked into the house and all the surrounding areas of the property.
All right, let's go to Millennial.
Hey guys, I appreciate you getting on here tonight. I just wanted to ask a couple of questions. Ashley or Samantha, do either of you know who those people are that were tagged in Tyler's 48 hours post?
I do not know.
You know which
From
post
my
that people?
understanding, it's family that's out of state.
Family that's out of state, okay. It was just interesting.
I know because they didn't. I don't think any of them have shared anything in regards to Michael.
Yeah, because I think one of them shared it but wasn't tagged, and so I was just trying to look for any kind of connection. It was just really odd. And then, the whole 48 hours thing, and I don't want to get into timestamps and things like that, but I just was wondering if either of you, had heard of them, like, around town, or, like, how people know people in towns. It's like, yeah, I know who they are, but I don't know. I know them, but I don't know them. You know what I mean? And then my other question was, Brandy's talked a lot about their camping trips. So I was just wondering if you could give us, like, any more insight on that. Like, were they really big campers? Did Kira go with them on that last trip? In July? Or do you know if anybody who all went with them on the trip?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that she did in the 4 years that I was with their dad. To my knowledge, I want to say that was like the only camping trip that they had gone on. And again, that could also be because, like, they just had Arya not very long ago too. And I know how difficult that is camping with a baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, this last year they did like a Oregon Coast trip, or I guess 2 years ago or last year, something like that. They did an Oregon Coast trip, and they did go camping too. I don't know where they went camping, because that was something else that I had kind of wondered a little bit too, is if the places that they've gone camping have been searched,
Yeah, it just sounded like, and Brandy too, she got, I don't know the right words right now. My brain's not working. She got emotional the other night talking about that, those camping trips, and it's just something I picked up on in her press conference in November too. So, yeah, those are my
respectful of the entire situation. And Ashley, as a stepmother, I understand how much pain you would be in for Kira. And I've not been around my stepdaughter for 3 or 4 years now. So you guys are, and like I said, that I don't know if you guys could hear me earlier talking about Ashley saying about how Ben likes to make grilled cheese, and she was going to take him to a cooking class, but it really did a lot for my heart to hear anyone talk about those kids, and like their personalities and who they are, and not talk about yourself at all. So I appreciate you both being here, and I think all of us are on the same team, and that's Michael's team. And I think we're all realizing that the only way to be on Michael's team is to tell the truth and respect him enough and love him enough to put however we're feeling aside, or us being scared, or what relationships we're going to ruin, or how we're going to look, in order to find him, because he is what matters. So I appreciate everybody being here, and I know that the timeline stuff has been crazy, and you guys cleared several things up today, and just know that however many hundreds of people are in here, we appreciate it very much. You're very brave.
Ashley and Sam, I want to thank you personally for coming on. We actually had no idea that you guys were going to come on. I put a friend request in for both of you, or a follow request, and we'll keep in touch. And please don't ever feel like you can't be here helping, and because like I said at the beginning, ultimately, we're all here for the same exact reason, and that's to find Michael. And if we can do that as a group and as a team, um, people work people work in a group and as a team a lot better than they do if we're always at each other's throats. So please, you're always welcome here. Don't ever feel like you're not. Hopefully you're not. Hopefully we didn't hit you too hard. That wasn't our intentions, but very, very grateful that you guys are here.
Mike, can I just jump in for 1 second?
Absolutely.
Got a few messages
Absolutely.
saying that Dope has her hand up, and it's not showing on my end. But a few people have said it is the case. If you want to talk, do you want to talk, Dope, or is it a malfunction?
Who's that?
It's a malfunction. I don't have my hand up.
See, I told them they were wrong. That's all good. I was just checking. I thought you might have wanted to say something.
I do see Ashley and Sam have their hands up.
Yep. And what we'll do is we'll let Ashley and Sam have the last word, and then we'll close it out, and we'll get to work. Go ahead, Ashley and Sam. Thank you again.
I just wanted to say thank you guys for all that everybody's doing. You know, everybody wants Michael home, and for Crystal to be able to speak up and talk about what she knows, and Nicole and Dope, just everybody, the amount of people that have invested so much time and energy, not even just asking the questions and trying to get things figured out that way, but to all the people that went out there searching for him and spent hours and man time putting out flyers and handing out water, like, so much love to all of you. I appreciate all of you, and I really look forward to more discussions about this, and hopefully at some point this will all lead to bringing Michael home, because his community loves him, and we miss him, and he needs to be home safe, because, you know, is it sad for Michael's family? Absolutely. It is heartbreaking. But the real victim in all of this is Michael, and he needs the justice he needs, and he needs to be at peace, whether it's that he's found how he's found, or that he's found alive and brought home to the family who loves and adores him. So I want to thank you all. I really appreciate you guys and the time and this platform that you've given us to allow us to speak with you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate
so beautiful. I just wanted to say thank you as well. I wanted to apologize to those that have reached out to me on Facebook trying to discuss Michael, and I did not mean for it to come off in a way that I was uncaring or just, yeah, I apologize. Like I said before, it's very hard because I care about my relationship with the kids, and I care about the kids' well-being, and I don't want to cause them any more hurt or make life any more difficult for them than what it already is. And that's kind of where I'm at a crossroads, is that I feel like it's going to get a lot more ugly before it gets better, and finding Michael as more things come to the surface, and in turn that it's going to be a dwindling effect, which is very sad and unfortunate, but at the same time it would be amazing for Michael to get justice and to not have to wonder every time somebody sees a little blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy if it's Michael. So I wanted to say thank you guys. I did not feel attacked or like you guys were coming at me or anything. I've always been fairly open, like with building some trust there and talking about Michael and the things that I have observed or have heard or know. I don't take it offensively, and the only way that I would ever get offensive is if you guys were to attack Ben and Kira, which obviously you're not doing. So Yeah, like I said, I'm on Michael's team. That's the whole purpose, is for him to get justice, and it has nothing to do with my feelings. Like, my feelings don't matter. Everybody else's feelings don't matter, particularly. It's Michael, and that's the whole point of this. So thank you guys, and I don't get on Twitter very often, but I suppose I will check it more often now so I can continue these discussions with you guys and hopefully be of help in some way.
Absolutely, that sounds wonderful, and that goes for you too, Sam. Thank you both so much. And I guess we'll end it for tonight. Keep on putting out the retweets. You know, you just never know who's going to see them. That's about all we can do, and we could try to tighten up the timeline the best we can as a group. You know, and we'll just go from there. And I thank everyone for coming tonight, and I really appreciate everyone's input. And I wish you all a great rest of your night. And that's it.